following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
But when you are a guard and you can pull up from 30, there is very little that can be done with you. And that is the case with Stephen Curry. He don't need help. He don't need screens. He can create his own shot off the dribble.
Yeah. Ooh, Coach put me in the game. I can hit the shot from half court. MVP of all sports. Coach put me in the game. You know I'm the truth on the field. Pad up. Competition know the deal. Coach put me in the game. Yeah. Coach put me in the game. Coach put me in the game. Welcome to the Coach Staley, Coach English Show. Ghoulish gang. Coach put me in the game.
Welcome back to the Staley and English Show with Coach Kurtz. I'm your man, Coach English, and we are here once again to bring you another great show. We are powered by Defy Life. Visit www.godefylife.com for all your content. Check out the Staley and English Show with Coach Kurtz page, where we blog about stuff pretty much on a daily basis. Check out the Go Defy Life store. It's a really dope website. Check it out. Just dropped a new show called Live with Neek. If you haven't checked it out, take a second to go check it out. Very dope young lady who just came onto the network. The show had me hooked all last night. So also we are coming to you straight live on Facebook Live. So if at any point you want to get your comment heard, just go ahead and type it in. And I believe Josh got us on his Instagram. He was supposed to have us on Instagram Live. I don't know if he got it. I don't know if he got it set up or not. Hopefully he do.
I don't have it set up. I'm sorry.
It's all right. But let's get it started like we always do. Hey Josh, man, how was the week?
We was blessed as always. When it started out just like that. We're in the heart of basketball season now. We actually had our first scrimmage tonight against a very, very well coached, very good Lexington high school team. Coach Bailey Harris and his staff continue to do a very good job. And every year we scrimmage them, they expose us and make us look at the things we need to work on and get better at, and just really push us to another level early on in the season. So kudos to Coach Harris and his guys. And we keep working. We got some things we got to work on. Did some things well. We got some things we got to improve at. But other than that, all was well. The guys played well. I was impressed with the way we competed in spots. Family's healthy. God is good, and that's about all I got. Coach Kurtz, how was your week going, brother?
Yeah, great week as well. Excited, good time. Like we talked about last week. Great time of year with football playoffs, and then beginning of basketball season, always exciting. And then the holidays are coming in, so me just recently moving to Florida. I mean, I'm excited. We'll be headed back up to South Carolina to see Whitney's family and then all of my friends and former co-workers in South Carolina. So I'm excited to see you guys here in about a week and a half or so. And so that's exciting. And then huge shout out, big news. I just got it today. One of my favorite, I got lots of favorite ex-students, but one of my favorite ex-students, one of my hardest workers, unbelievable person, great personality, great energy. She's a senior at Winthrop University. She wants to be a strength and conditioning coach. Taylor Smith, and she just found out today that she got, which is a very, very exclusive internship at the National Strength and Conditioning Association's headquarters in Colorado. She was one of 3 interns to be named for that internship for this spring, a paid internship, and it'll be a great experience for her. And definitely well deserving because she's been great ever since she was at AC4, and I know she's gonna be great in the profession as well.
Okay, good deal. That sounds great. Coach E, how things going with you, brother?
Man, yo, blessed, man. Had a very, very great weekend, man. We did our first annual team boot camp. We had the varsity and JV kids came in on Friday at 7:30, and we had a kickoff by Pastor John Griggs. He's actually the FCA. The FCA area director, I guess, or district director, and he came in and kicked us off with a great word and talked about the power of one. Gave each kid a domino, pretty much signifying the power they have individually, and talked about how when you put all of those, the domino individual can't stand on its own, but if you put it with other dominoes, you can make designs and this, that, and the third, and how one domino could affect all the rest, and how you need to be holding your own to make sure all the other dominoes are able to stand. So it was really cool to kick it off like that. Had some people come in and speak throughout the weekend. The assistant superintendent came through and spoke with him. Mr. Larry Johnson gave him a great word. Edward Wilson, if you've never heard him speak, he's a great guy. You got who else came and spoke? Pastor John Grace spoke again, and then they had to practice at I came through the room blowing the whistle at 4 a.m, and we had 4 or 5 practices a day. I mean, it was a great weekend. They bonded. One of my kids is out in California. His game was streamed on the internet, so they had an opportunity to watch it. As a team, to root him on. Now his team got punched in the face, but he played well, and they got a chance to watch it as a team. So it made us stronger, man. Ever since, I mean, from the start of that weekend to now, practice has been nuts. The energy level, the accountability, the way that they're communicating, it's just been crazy ever since that camp. So, it's I can't ask for much more. Tell you the truth. Right now. So it's been a great time, man. For me at least, and I'm blessed, man. Kids are healthy, and I'm enjoying myself really and truly.
Good deal. That's always good, especially when you can call out your blessings and recognize them. That's always a good deal. Coach E.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the current event we got tonight.
All right, we're gonna start off with the top 24. What we talked about was the top 20. And so we're gonna talk about them, and then we're gonna touch on the Duke Kentucky game and kind of get your thoughts on that. The top 20, number 1 was Kansas, number 2 Kentucky, number 3 Gonzaga, number 4 Duke, number 5 University of Virginia, number 6 Tennessee, number 7 Nevada, number 8 UNC, number 9 Villanova, number 10 Michigan State, number 11 Auburn, number 12 Kansas State, number 13 West Virginia, number 14 Oregon, number 15 Virginia Tech, number 16 Syracuse, number 17 Florida State, number 18 Mississippi State, number 19 Michigan, and we're going to stop at the top 20 with number 20 TCU. Now, do you think the NCAA got that right? Do we think that was done? Did they get that right? Did the committee get that right? Is the top 20? Do you feel everybody kind of fell in their place so far?
Well, the media usually picks those. The coaches in the media usually picks those early. So, I mean, yeah, I think they're in the ballpark. You're never going to get it exactly right because the only ranking that matters is the one at the end. But I think they're in the ballpark. I think they did a pretty solid job. I don't think they really struck out and got any of them wrong. But after watching Duke play, it looks like it's Duke against the rest of the field. They look really, really good. They look dangerous.
Well, Josh, give us. I think this is what we talked about a little bit on the last show, and the audio got messed up. What we said was give us your Final Four at the end of the year.
Yeah. What? Yeah, the Final Four. What's your Final Four? There we go. We'll start there. What's your Final Four?
So I'm going to be a front runner. I'm going to front run right now and put Duke in my Final Four. Okay, I'm a spice it up for you guys. I'm gonna put 2 ACC teams in the Final Four if they don't run into each other in the tournament. I got Duke and Florida State from the ACC. I know no one was expecting me to say Florida State, but I got Duke and Florida State. My dark horse is Nevada. Even though they technically wouldn't be a bracket buster, but not many people are still going to pick them to go to the Final Four. And my fourth team, I'm going to stick with Gonzaga. That's who I got. What about you, Coach Kurtz?
Yeah. I obviously Duke looked unbelievable, and I think last week I picked them even before that first game.
Yeah, you get credit for that.
I did, but I definitely did not think they were going to be as impressive as they were, and I mean, how they looked was unbelievable. So you got to put Duke. I like Kentucky. Did they play? Did they get dominated? Yeah, but I love Coach Cal. I think he's got a good mixture of some stud freshmen and then a few, I guess, sophomores, which are considered kind of older players on these teams now. He's got a couple sophomores that came back that potentially weren't going to come back. I think he's going to get that team rolling, and I'm a fan of Coach Calipari, and I think he's going to get those guys rolling. I agree 100% with Coach Staley with Nevada. I love Nevada, and I talked about Coach Musselman, what he's doing with he's building his program around transfers, and everybody talks about the transfer epidemic in college and now in high school basketball. But Coach Musselman's built his team around transfers where they transfer and essentially redshirt for a year and learn the system, and then they're already in the system, and it puts them a year ahead of guys. And he got a huge score to get Cody and Caleb Martin back this coming year, who are both potentially, I know one of them was Conference All Player of the Year, and I haven't seen the preseason All-American selections, but I bet that at least one of them is on one of the preseason All-American teams. So I love Nevada. I love Cody and Caleb Martin. I've known them for a long time. Unbelievable, humble dudes. Always wishing them a ton of success. And then third, and I thought I'm surprised. I don't know. Coach Staley, I love you, dog, but I know Florida State's your team, but Florida State ain't going to the Final Four.
I don't like Florida State for football. I mean, basketball. I only like Florida State for football. Trust me, I'm not a Florida State basketball fan. I'm a Florida State football fan. But you got to pick a monkey wrench team. You can't just go traditional with your picks. You got to throw a monkey wrench team in there because every year is a monkey wrench team. I don't care who it is.
I hear you. Okay, good defense. I see you. For my fourth team, I'm going with UVA. Love them. I know they've been disappointing in the postseason, but I like them, and I love and another guy who transferred there and essentially redshirted last year, who was a stud his freshman year at Alabama, and then got hurt 2 years ago, I guess, and transferred to UVA. Braxton Key is going to be, I think he's going to be a big player for UVA this year. So I'm going UVA, Duke, Kentucky, and Nevada. I don't have no real dark horses, but that's who I'm rolling with.
Coach E, who you got, brother?
All right, man. I must say that I did not have Duke in my Final Four. I do now. I didn't have them before, but watching that game was like watching a thing of beauty, man. Like they played well together. I thought So I think I could go on and on, but it was amazing. Zion, I didn't think he was going to translate that. He's athletic. He showed the jump shot a little bit. I think he's got a little ways to go with as far as that's concerned, but passed the ball pretty well, and it was just to watch. It was good. So I got them. I feel like you really can't count Villanova out because they coached extremely well. And for some odd reason, I'm a homer, and this pick is because I'm a fan. Syracuse, and I'm gonna go with because and you guys
don't make picks because you a fan.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you the truth though. At least I'm being real about it. At least I'm being real about it. I'm being like I always have faith in Jim Boeheim, man. I give us a shot every year. So I mean, I'm a homer. I'm gonna go with Syracuse. You too
smart for that. Go ahead. All right.
And then from listening to you guys talk the last time, like I said, the audio, like Micah said, the audio got skewed. But from talking to you guys last time, the Nevada team with all those transfers and kind of the philosophy that a lot of coaches are going with now, going with the whole older players now that are more ready to play. So I'm going with those. That's Nevada, Syracuse, Nova, and Duke. That'll be my Final Four, and we'll have to revisit this once the season kind of starts, once March Madness starts, and then we'll go and then we'll revisit it and go from there. So
I'm gonna give you one more opportunity to change Syracuse. You want to go ahead and change it?
Nah, man, I'm gonna stick with it, man. I'm gonna stick with it, dog. Once you put that stamp in there, you kind of got to stick with it.
All right.
I know, Josh, you supposed to be, just kind of on the personal level. I know we supposed to be trying to find these Redskins Giants tickets. I know that, so we can hit a game. We supposed to be doing that.
We can hit a game if you want to watch us beat y'all. We can do that.
Okay. We can do that. All right. Whatever. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. So, I'm gonna tell you what's crazy about this topic. Like, Josh called me yesterday. Was it yesterday morning, Josh? It might have been.
No, I think it was the day before yesterday.
It was the day before yesterday, and he's like, "Yo, did you see that video?" And I was like, "What video?" He was like, "Yo, the teacher, beating up, fighting the student." And I was like, "Well, nah, it's kind of like a little trend now. It's happened." And so he was like, "Yo, dog, you need to see the video." So I go and watch the video, and when I watch the video, like, I knew from what Josh said, I was like, yo, I feel a certain type of way. But then I watched the video and I was like, yo, I really feel some type of way. And I really feel like, I was like, Josh, I'm amped up to do this show because it's something that's going on in the school system that we kind of don't talk about. And I'm going to tell you how taboo this is. This is so taboo, Josh, that I couldn't get nobody in education to come on the show and talk about it. Like, everybody's like, nah, I ain't touching it. I'm not touching it because I'm going to say something that might get me fired or whatever. Like, nobody wanted to talk about it. So we're going to play the audio real quick, and then we're going to get into the topic, which is the cutoff point. Like how far is a teacher supposed to go? So we're going to play the audio for you real quick, and mind you, audience, like, the audio does nothing for this. Like, you got to see the video and how the kid was like standing up to him. And this comes from Intel Videos off of YouTube. So just to give them their credit, let's listen to it. We're going to go ahead and play it now.
Why your watch cracking, my nigga? Come on, bro. Yeah, walk the fuck back, nigga. You got me fucked up, nigga. You got me bent, bitch. What? Bro, I'm on, bro. Do you really say that shit, bro? I'm on, bro. Everybody saying that shit, my nigga. Bro, they lying shit, bro. Stop lying, nigga. You the one lying, bro. I'm on, bro. Stop fronting, my nigga. You know you said that shit, bro. I'm on. Bro, say it too, bro. We right here, bro. Everybody's watching, my nigga. What's up? You ain't telling me shit. Bro, I'm on, nigga. You a black bitch, bro. Come on, Ooh, he said cut straight up. Why you shaking, bro? So you say that shit or what's up, bro? You say that shit, bro? You say that shit or what? I'm telling you, right?
And pretty much from there the fight breaks out. So I just wanted you to hear like the level of disrespect the kid was spewing on him, all the N words and everything else. And to our younger audience, we excuse. I should have put the disclaimer before, but and our parents out there, sorry, but I think that we could have beeped everything out, but. When I talked to Josh yesterday, I felt as though it was extremely important for people to understand what we go through as teachers on a daily basis, like to truly fully understand how far this man was pushed. So, Josh, like, what was your I ain't even gonna ask the question, man. I'm gonna let you go. Go ahead.
Well, this situation saddens my heart on multiple levels, and I even got sad when you said some of the other people in education didn't want to touch on it, because that bothers me also. I think that's one of the main problems.
That's the problem
in education, that everybody's afraid to express themselves and tell the truth. We didn't ask them to pull out a bag of weed on their Instagram page and get drunk. We asked them to talk about the state of education. And if honestly and productively and professionally expressing yourself puts your job at risk, you need to find another job, because that's not a job. That's slavery.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't even have a mind of your own. But this situation saddens me to the point of multiple levels. It makes me look at myself as a parent. How in the world do you get to the point where you're rearing a child where they have no regard for, no respect, pardon me, not even regard, no respect for an adult? And you just don't wake up one day and get like that. You develop into that type of person, to that type of child over time. So there were multiple instances where that child could have been corrected at the house. I'm not going to put this on the school, because charity starts at home. And the sheer fact that that young man felt he had the authority to stand up to an adult in such a disgraceful manner not only upsets me, but it saddens me, because someone has failed that child. Someone has put that child in a scenario where it's almost going to be impossible for them to be successful in society. Because they have no respect. They have no respect for themselves. They have no respect for adults. They have no respect for the opportunity to learn if they act like that. On the flip side, with the teacher, my only advice would be, if you get to the point where you know you're about to attack a kid, walk out. Walk out the classroom. I like your chances of dealing with an unsupervised class than dealing with wailing on a disobedient child. Now, the child did physically, see, people aren't talking about this, the child did physically assault the teacher because he hit the teacher with the basketball.
Yeah.
So he did assault the teacher. And here's the background story that most people don't know. This teacher was already jumped by other students while at the same school.
Yep.
So this wasn't the first time this teacher was in this altercation with these disrespectful kids. Not the same kid jumped him, but some other kids jumped this teacher, and he decided to stay on the job. And this is just an example, and it's not to this extreme, but teachers, especially in a public school setting, go through it daily. And the only way education is going to be as good as it possibly can be is if we get a strong grasp on discipline within the educational system. Because if you don't discipline them while they're in school, guess what? Society will.
Yeah.
But it's so many layers, man, that goes with that because, again, it all falls back on the house. It falls back on the parents. But I got more things I'm going to say. I'm not going to get all my points out right now. But my initial feelings when I watched that was I was saddened, I was angry, and I was extremely disappointed in that child's parents.
All right, hey, go ahead. Finish up.
I'm done. Go ahead.
Nah, we just had a Facebook comment. Neat Cruz, she asked a question. She started off with a statement. She says, something is wrong with these kids today. She asked the question, why are these kids so angry? Like, why are these kids, I don't know. Like, I don't know why these kids are so angry. And no matter how much you try to figure it out, I don't know if there's a legit cookie cutter answer to the question. Micah, you had a chance to watch the video. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that answer, that question on Facebook right there, like Josh said, I mean, there is no one direct answer to it. There's so many layers to this situation. Obviously, Josh hit on how was the kid raised. He hit on there's a major problem in school systems with leadership, where many of these people that are in leadership positions are scared to really be true leaders because they're just happy being an assistant principal or whatever and making a decent living. And they know, hey, if I shake the system up, if I really try and bring about change, they're scared that they'll lose their job. And that's a major disappointment where people that are put in leadership positions just want to hold those leadership positions and don't truly want to be leaders. And a great quote that I just read from Winston Churchill is the price of greatness is responsibility. And unfortunately, a lot of people that are in leadership positions that have a great deal of responsibility truly don't want to be great. They just want to hold those leadership positions. So that's another major issue. And then, I mean, and I don't know the whole story. All I saw was the video clip. And I have become one of the biggest, I am not trustful of the media, of the news. I can't read CNN. I can't read Fox News. I can't watch these news stations because I know every one of them has a bias and is trying to spin their opinion on you. And so that video, I mean, it's just a short clip. I don't know what happened beforehand. I don't know that guy. I don't know that kid. I don't know what happened beforehand. So I'm not going to make a broad, obviously the kid was over the top, but I don't know what that teacher has done day in and day out. And so really the point I'm coming from with that is obviously I'm not going to sit there and 100% make an opinion on that from the video. Obviously it's a very disturbing video, but the point I'm trying to make is another issue is the majority of there is a major teacher shortage in America. So are we getting true leaders and people that are really fit to teach our kids in these positions, or are we having to fill these positions with below average leaders, teachers, that really is not their passion? Are we having to fill those positions with them? 100%. I mean, somebody just sent me something the other day. They put it on Facebook. They saw an ad for assistant manager at Dunkin' Donuts, starting salary $41,000, full benefits, paid vacation, and he's a teacher in North Carolina. He's like, that is the salary for a teacher in North Carolina with 12 years of experience. And he's like, so are we really getting great people in these positions to teach our kids because of how poorly these teachers are paid? And I mean, the other clip that you sent, Coach English, is a student hitting a kid in Baltimore City School District.
Yeah, when she hit the teacher, she punched the teacher.
Yeah, Northwestern High School, which I know very well. My very first job out of college, was teaching at Patterson High School in Baltimore City. Baltimore City School District, what you saw on the wire is very, very accurate. Like, it is one of the worst school districts in the country. I taught there for 2 years. I was probably one of the only white males that most of these kids ever interacted with outside of a police officer. And I never had an altercation with a kid like these videos. And these altercations can happen to good people. But if you have a presence and you treat these kids with respect and show that you truly, truly care for them, I mean, I'd say 95% of the time this is not going to happen. Are there outliers? Yes. But there's a lot of there's a lot of layers to this problem, but I mean, it goes on every level. The parents, the kids, the administrators, the government for not funding education to get quality teachers in. I mean, there's layers on top of layers on top of layers, which I don't really see any real resolve in sight.
Yes, it's difficult. Coach E, what are your thoughts, brother?
Well, Josh, I think, when me and you spoke this morning, it was a situation where we were talking about no matter, the teacher could have handled it differently. He could have stepped out of the room, like you said earlier, Josh, or called down to the main office and had somebody sent up to his classroom. You kind of get a sense of there has been something between these two before. And maybe there was some steps that he could have taken to make it, different, to create a different outcome. Micah, you said it's about the relationships with the kids. Like, it's about, okay, I got to have a relationship with these kids so they know that I care, so that I don't get put in these positions where I have to make a decision where it's either me or it's them. But I do feel as though, I say all of that kind of, and I'm going to say this, I do feel as though we as teachers are put in a bad spot when it comes to that. Like, if we were out in the street and got attacked by a kid, right, and we retaliate or whatever, yeah, we'll get arrested or whatever, but at that point, it's a self-defense. If we're in a school setting and kids are literally beating on you, you don't have it, you kind of got to sit there and take, like the Baltimore teacher did. Like, the girl punched her in the face and she just stood there and was like, all right, well, she kind of looked towards the door, like, you got to get out my class. And the girl kind of, she walked out the door, but she squared up, punched the lady in the face. And according to the story, she's an elder, a respected elder in the church, a highly qualified teacher in the state, and she still had to go through that. I would like to think that I'm a good teacher who fosters relationships with his students, but I've had kids raise up on me before. You know what I'm saying? And I've had to deal with that before. That's why I think at some of these, at a good bit of the alternative schools, they got to go through the PTI, not the PTI training, the restraint training. because, you can't really hit a kid, but you're going to have yourself prepared to be able to defend yourself, because some of these kids are extremely disrespectful. So it kind of comes to a point where, who is, I don't know if you lay the blame at any one person's doorstep, but one, the video is disturbing. Two, I don't know what I would do if I was put in that situation. If you continue to watch the video on, another student jumps in to jump the teacher. Like, where with a security guard from the school and an administrator looks like came in the room, or another teacher came in the room, another student starts to hit on the teacher. And what's crazy is, and then I actually went, because I don't think it ever should be a situation where we're just, talking about just this video. I went and watched some of the news stuff that was going on. There are some students, well, a good portion, they said, of the student population are defending the teacher. Like, and they're like, how good of a guy he is, and this, that, and the third, and how much he's been through, and he still keeps coming to work for those kids. And I don't know how many, if I've been jumped by students at this school, am I coming back? I'm not coming back unless I truly, truly care about these kids. And he came back. So that means he cares about the kids. He cares about the community of that school. So, without knowing anything else and just knowing this, like, did the man deserve it? No, we don't know what happened before. I know I saw the kid hit him with a basketball, and I don't believe a teacher said anything to him that would cause that, for him to be hit and assaulted with an object. What could that teacher the teacher in Baltimore have possibly said to that young lady that warranted her to punch her in the face? And sometimes I honestly believe that these kids, they're not stupid. And I believe they know that they can say to you whatever, because your hands are tied. You are not allowed to do anything. You can't do anything other than write them up and have them removed from your class. Because you can't, if they won't leave your class, you can't remove them. You can't physically put them in that position. And like I said, I've been lucky to have not been in any of those situations. I've had somebody raise up, like I said before, but eventually the relationship between me and him allowed me to talk him off that ledge before it took another step. And if he hit me, I don't know what my response would be to that. Like, I just don't know.
It's tough because it's easy and I'm glad you're being honest, Coach E, because it's easy to say what you would and would not do. Yeah. I would have liked for the teacher to walk out of the classroom, not because I thought the student could have beat him up, but just because how he's going to be prosecuted like he was the culprit, because it's really not a lot of protection for us in the classroom. I've seen where I just talk about myself. I've been cursed at by teachers. I don't have a lot of situations where students were disrespectful, but I don't really tolerate my sons. I don't tolerate my sons disrespecting me or any other adults. No %. So you can't really gauge like, oh, they're not that disrespectful, or it's just a little bit disrespectful. It's not that bad. And I know, okay, that comes with the territory. But if this is your job, this is what you do, it is extremely difficult and stressful to deal with disrespectful students. Now, to stay on point with what we are talking about,
yeah,
the young man was extremely volatile in his approach, and I agree with Micah. I agree. I don't even watch the news because I research something myself before I actually listen to the news, because everything has an agenda behind it. Everything. So I don't really get caught up in the news, except for the weather. But hell, the weather be wrong sometimes.
The weather be wrong too.
So I'm looking at this young man And this is how I summarize things to make it simple. What would I have done if I found out that was one of my sons acting like that with another adult? The school would not have had to worry about suspending Talon, Jason, or Leo, because they wouldn't have never came back to the school. I would have unenrolled my own sons, and they would be getting homeschooled right now, because they don't deserve to be in an educational environment if they were that disrespectful to another adult. If my sons were to put their hands on another adult and punch an elderly woman like that child punched that teacher in the face, she squared off and hit a woman in the face, again, the school wouldn't even have to worry about anything, because I would be all the discipline one of my sons would need. Now, I do understand I probably raised my sons differently than other people, and I'm not talking about whippings and beatings. I'm not talking about that. But my wife and I are very strict on discipline and how our kids handle themselves when they're not around us. And to see this, and like the question said, that is a tough question. Why are these kids so angry? Well, it's layers. We've used this word, it's layers why these children are angry. But here's the thickest layer. They aren't loved. Because see, when you love someone, you give them everything they need, not everything they want. And one of the biggest elements of love is truth and honesty. And when you're honest and when you tell the truth, you have no problem with disciplining the people you love, because you want them to do well. And if you have no discipline within the structure, it has no choice but to fail. Because any structure without discipline is only a piece of material waiting to fail. And these babies are mad and angry because they haven't been given the love and the care and the nurturing of what it takes to be productive citizens in the world. And like Coach Kurtz said, so now you got situations where I would probably go work at Dunkin'. If I'm 22, I'm 23, and I've been doing internships throughout college, and they say, well, look, because you got 2 summers worth of internships in, we're going to let you start out as assistant manager at Dunkin' Donuts. $41,000. Well, if I start out teaching, I'm making what? $28,000?
Yeah.
Where do you think I'm going? Where do you think I'm going? And it's crazy because I'm a teacher, and you guys, and y'all are some of the most intelligent people I know on this planet. Like, the way you articulated your point, Micah, made me look at it from a different perspective. With a college degree, with masters, what the flip you mean you're going to start me out at $28,000, $30,000 a year? Not just to do a job, but to have the heaviest impact on the future. As an educator, we affect the future more than any other profession in the world. And I can go to Dunkin' Donuts and make basically 50% more of your salary, half of your salary, if I start out there. So this is why there's a unbelievable, South Carolina alone, we have a large teacher shortage. Across America, we have a large teacher shortage. I know it's a large teacher shortage down in Florida. So we got these shortages because people are like, I'm not going to deal with the disrespect and the stress and the hustle and bustle and the constant genre that changes within the educational system. And I'll just go work another job where I get full benefits and paid vacation. Yeah, it sounds good to have your summer off, but why would I want to be dealing with this element of disrespect? And that's why I think people are pushed towards their cutoff point. I pray in my heart to hearts that, and God forbid, but if I'm ever in that moment, that I have enough restraint to put me and the student in a situation where neither one of us can be hurt at that moment and in the future. I pray for that.
Yeah.
But what frightens me is this element right here. Would this student do this if they know they weren't in an educational environment? Would this student do this in the streets, away from the school, with an adult, a random adult, with an adult that they know? Because outside of the school, you aren't protected by the realms and policies of the educational system. So as an educator, you got to be able to realize where you are, remain poised, remain calm, become the calmer element in a hostile environment, and figure out how to make sure not just you, but the child is in a safe situation also, because obviously that child hasn't been taught right. It hasn't been reared right. So it's just, and it's difficult, but like I said, it's easy to say what you would do, and we're able to talk about it and kind of counsel ourselves through it. But I don't know. What you think, Micah?
No, I'm with you. Where I like what you said. I mean, obviously, the pay and salary. I mean, I think it has a big deal where schools are not being able to attract people like you and Coach English, who think of your job as a teacher and coach as your calling. Like I think the majority of teachers in some of these difficult school districts are just like, hey, it's a job. It is what it is. Is it something that I love? No. It is what it is. It'll do for now. Oh, this kid's giving me problems. I'm going to give him problems. And then if it comes to where what happens in those videos, it manifests to that. Like, hey, it is what it is. I hit this kid. I get fired. It's going to get settled. I'm not going to jail or nothing. I'm going to get fired and not be able to teach. I'll go get a job at Dunkin' Donuts and make more money. Like, that's what it is. Like, people teaching, like you said, Coach Staley, is the most impactful profession that you can have. You are molding the future of America. Like, there's nothing more impactful and important than that. And if you don't look at it like that, if you just look at it like, hey, it's a job, it is what it is, then you don't deserve, you shouldn't be in this profession. But unfortunately, because of how poorly compensated teachers are and how disrespected they are by our government, who is funding these positions, you're not getting quality teachers in there. And like, look at it and say, hey, whatever. I get fired, I'll go get a job in a week making more money with less stress. So there's so many layers. And obviously, that's just one layer of it. Like we touched on all the other layers. There's problems at home. There's problems. Another one that we have not touched on is, I mean, the media and TV, like 90% of these TV shows that kids watch are these reality shows where the stars of the reality shows are getting in fights daily on these shows, throwing drinks in each other's face, getting in fights, and that's just the norm. That's how you're supposed to act in society, they think, especially if they're growing up without their parents really around. And so they're seeing this on TV. And so, I mean, I cannot stand the media, from the news coverage, there's reality TV. Everybody has agendas, and it's not doing anything to benefit the society for sure. And like, these kids are growing up watching reality TV, quote unquote reality TV, and these reality TV stars are making a lot of money, and they're just getting in fights with each other and throwing drinks at each other. And it's like, hey, it's what they do. Why don't I do that? And there's no real leadership in their lives, whether they're parents or like we hit on as well with leadership at schools. The leaders in the schools, the leaders in the majority of the, especially public school systems, are happy to be in that position. I've put in my time. I've put in my time as a teacher. I've gotten promoted. Now I'm a principal. Now I'm in a district position. Now I'm an assistant principal. I'm not going to do anything to really lay down the law and ruffle feathers and really create change, because that might make me lose my job. And I got to hold on to this job, which now I'm getting paid the most I've gotten paid, and I got to hold on to it for the next 10, 15 years so I can get my little retirement, which is a broken system all the way around.
Yeah, it's broken. It's broken on multiple levels, like you said. And the breaking point, I think, is this for teachers. I think the only time you want to find yourself, and don't get it twisted, I don't do well with disrespect. Like, if you ask any of my classes, like, I have very few rules, like when we go over procedures at the rules and procedures at the beginning of the season. You get the school year, pardon me. And respect is one of the main things that I harp on, because I'm going to respect you when you come through that classroom door. And I expect the same respect back. Even when you're having a bad day, I understand sometimes you have bad days. And I'm going to respect you within those bad days. So and I've had situations where I had to tell students, look, I'm not going to tolerate you disrespecting me, because I'm never going to disrespect you. So I'm not going to tolerate you disrespecting me. I'm not. That's just how it's going to be. But I think your breaking point has to be this, educators. This has to be your breaking point. Only if you are in a life-threatening situation. Like if your physical, and I'm not even talking about life, but if your physical and physical well-being is at danger, you have to defend yourself and put yourself in a situation where you're safe. And that's within the school system. And then I think protected by law. But you still have to be extremely careful. The young man that was disrespecting that teacher was gross and disgusting. His disrespect level, because even if that teacher did something to provoke that kid, I still would not accept my sons acting like that, even if a adult was trying to verbally provoke them to act like that. My son still should know better. Keep their mouth closed. Come get your parents. Come get an adult immediately. Then we will handle it. Because you don't disrespect an adult like that, especially to the point when you physically assault him and hit him with the basketball. So I don't really buy, like I said, like you said, we didn't see the whole interaction. We don't know what happened days before, but I do know this: I don't buy that man did something to make that kid be that disrespectful. I think the kid's already been being ruined by the people that's raising him, because they're not doing it the right way, and the kid feels that he can get away with that. Just like with the young lady punching the teacher in the face. Like, it's only a short clip. The teacher's quiet. You can tell the lady's intimidated by the student. And she wants no parts of it. But the student pushes another student out the way to punch the lady in the face. Okay? So I kudos to the lady for keeping her restraint and not losing it. Even though I think she didn't lose because she felt she didn't have a chance against the student anyway. So she was frightened. But the male teacher in California, I do, for his sake, I wish he would have kept his restraint a little bit more. And like I said, the only time I think your breaking point should break is when you are in immediate danger. At that point, though the kid hit him with the ball, he still wasn't in immediate danger. Like I said, if my sons would ever disrespect an adult like that, my sons would be in immediate danger with me. Immediate. They would better be seeking shelter very fast because I'm about to bomb on them if I ever see them being that disrespectful to an adult. Ever. And I guess you would have to maintain your breaking point unless you're just in immediate danger. And I wish the child well, even though he was very disrespectful, and I wish the teacher well. Because somewhere down the line, I pray somebody can get this child the help he needs to get back on track so he can be a productive citizen. And I pray that the teacher gets through this and everything is going to come because of what he went through. The report is telling the truth. He was arrested. He was booked. And I wish everybody well in that situation. Coach E, what do you think you got? What's the breaking point to you?
Just like you said, man, I agree with you 100%, and I agree with Micah 100%. That the breaking point would have to be once it becomes life threatening, and if it's not life threatening at that point, then yeah, you get there. And like I said earlier, like I don't know what it's like to be in those situations where it is life threatening, where you are, where you have to question whether, it's you or it's them. Like, I don't know. And I'm in my so many years of teaching, I'm blessed to not have to know. And I'm hoping for the rest of my teaching career, I don't ever know. I think that it's tough, Josh, because like it's so many things wrong. Like, you walk out, you like you said earlier, you almost leave you get reprimanded for leaving the classroom unattended and then, just go. But I know like at some schools they do like, shoot, you might have an issue with a kid and they do a poor job of removing the kid from your class. Like, who's to say the man didn't go and say, hey, man, something's going to bubble with this kid, man. Y'all really need to get him out of my class. Like, I don't, we don't know that type of stuff, but those things do happen when they go, oh, well, we don't have anywhere to put him. You just going to have to deal with it, kind of deal with it. And you almost go, what do you mean deal with it? Like, I'm telling you, there's something to happen here. And you're just telling me to deal with it. How sometimes the administration is reluctant to move a kid to the alternative school or expel a kid because it hurts numbers. You got to do what you got to do. We are in, I don't have a better way of saying it, but I think we are in the most baffling profession to me. On a daily basis, you can be confused by so much and not really understand. Like because there's no clear cut, you do this or you do that. All you know is you do what's best for the student. That's all you know. Like the answer to whatever question you can have when it comes to being at that school is whatever's best for the student. And they don't teach you all that other stuff. Like you got to kind of deal with it as it comes. So I know I got a little bit off your question, Josh, but like I don't know. Like it really put me in a place that questions you. It makes you question yourself. Like that situation made me kind of question myself and made me really think, like, especially with, like what if, he walks away and this, that, and the third. And now apparently there was another kid in the class because like I said earlier, another kid jumped on him towards the end of the video. Who's to say this is not going to end up being a recurring thing? He walks out, the kid gets a referral. Now he's back in school 2 days later. Or who's to say he doesn't get ISS or after school detention or something like lunch detention for just being disrespectful to the teacher? Now he's back in my class tomorrow or the day after that or 2 days from now. And now I got to go through this whole thing again. Now I got to hold up instruction again because I got this kid who just won't stop. And I'm asking for help. I'm talking to people, and they're not doing anything. So, you know, like Josh, I don't know if we have an answer on this show, me, you, or Micah. It's just like y'all kept on saying, it's so many layers. Like, do we talk, or is it the parents? And Josh, I think you made a very deep statement when you said, you know, the kids are angry because they haven't experienced, like, they're not loved. The majority of these kids are not loved.
But see, that's what I'm talking about. What you said was so profound also, where you're taught in the educational system to, okay, do what's right for the kid. Do what's right for the kid. Do what's right for the kid. No. Sometimes that means what we're actually doing, pacify the kid. Pacify the kid.
Yeah.
Keep the parents off your back. Keep the parents off your back. Keep the whatever educational system off your back. Keep them off your back. Keep your numbers up. And because you're pacifying the kid, you're not really doing what's best for the kid. Because if you're going to do what's best for the kid, you're going to discipline them. You can't name me one element, one thing you can be successful in that you don't have to have discipline. Unless you just, well, no, you can't. If you really think about it, what's one thing you can be successful in without discipline? You can't.
You can't.
You can't. Even if you say, well, I want to be successful in gaining weight. Well, guess what? You still got to have the discipline to eat, right?
Yeah.
You still got to have the discipline to be lazy. Well, if you want these students to be the best students they possibly can be, they have to have discipline and structure. But we get caught up in this thing of like we said, oh, we got to do what's best for the student. No, what you're really saying is we have to pacify that student so we don't have any problems legally, because we are afraid of the educational litigation, because that element always leans towards the student. And then you have people in society that feels that everything is going to go their way. And we know what happens when you have undisciplined people in society. They don't feel like they have to follow rules and structure. They turn into criminals. And now you have these private investors investing in prisons, and you make them rich because they have to go somewhere, because eventually you're going to get caught. So doing what's best for the kid sometimes is disciplining that child. But we don't do that. And that's what frightens me about sending my sons to public education. I'm a realist. If my kids act up, I want you to discipline them. Show them that there are consequences for not doing the right thing. Because I don't want them 18, 19, 23, 25 years old thinking that they can still get away with this stuff. It doesn't work like that. So it's just a breaking point, man. I mean, we're going to bring this thing to a close. Micah, tell us what you think the breaking point is, and then we can get into our shout outs and close out.
Yeah, man.
There's too many layers. There's too many layers. My biggest breaking point is the disrespect and that society puts on teachers. Does that kid in the video have to take a ton of the blame? Yes. But my breaking point goes from another level, where the disrespect that society places on the teaching profession, that's what leads to the breaking point for these people that are thrust into the teaching profession that don't really want to be in it.
I got you. I agree. That's a strong breaking point, because they're disrespecting our profession, and it's almost by default, because because they don't invest in education like they should, or they only invest in certain areas. You have what we call settling to educate kids. So we have people settling to educate our kids, and instead of people that really want to educate our kids. So it's difficult. It's difficult. And I understand 100%. I understand 100%. So, Coach E, if we don't have anything else, man, let's get into these shout outs and
we got one more thing, man. We got one more thing. Yo, Micah's been holding on to this for like 2 weeks. Micah, what is your 5, man, for $1 billion? Like, what is your 5?
Gee, golly, hold on a second. I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, like, I mean, you've been holding on to it for like 2 weeks, so I figured, there's no time like the present, to go ahead and unleash that.
So who was the 5 we're playing against?
We're playing against. You'd have to play against Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Magic Johnson, and Shaq.
All right. So here's who I got. I'm going with Steph Curry, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Larry Bird, and Anthony Davis. And here my reason.
You ain't got to explain it. I love it. Go ahead though.
I'm going Houston Rockets, Oakland Athletics, Moneyball Analytics, and I'm saying all of these guys can straight up stroke the 3. So you got who you got? You got Michael Jordan, Kobe. Give me that 5 again.
Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kobe.
So they're studs. Their bread and butter is two pointers, either medium range jumpers or getting to the rim and finishing at the rim. None of those are knockdown shooters. So let's say that team. How many shot attempts does an average team get a game?
Oh, we're talking about maybe Josh about 60 something.
How many shots an entire team get?
NBA wise, they're probably getting about, I would say about 70 to 80 shots.
Yeah,
no, maybe 80 to 90. Yeah. I mean, the way it's going now, maybe 80 to 90 shots.
Well, let's go right here for ease of analytics and math. Say they get each team averages 100 shots, and say your team with Michael and Kobe and those studs, say they go 40 of 80, which is a great night from 2. They shoot 50%. So that's 80 points. They're probably about an average 30% combined, 30% 3-point shooters. So say they shoot 7 out of 20 threes. So that's another 21 points. So that's 101 points they score on the night. This basketball analytics, where the 3 ball is big, all these guys are knockdown 3-point shooters. So say they shoot 100 shots, say 80 of them are threes. Say they make 30%, which is low. 30% which is low for those guys because they're all above 30% shooters. So that means they made about 25 threes. So that's 75 points right there. And then another 50% from 2. They're right there. It's right there at about or right there in the game. So I'm going basketball analytics and live or die by the 3. Kobe or KD and KD and Larry Bird are going to provide a matchup problem at the 4 because they can extend the floor and knock down the 3. Whichever one is playing the 4, probably KD would play the 4. So that's my thoughts right there.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good. I'll take that. That team might be able to pull it out.
It's a different game now. I mean,
you're right.
So,
but I'm gonna be honest with you. Like,
I actually love that team. That's why I was trying to pick the team I picked. But I actually love that team.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what's funny is on the kids podcast they asked the same question to the assistant superintendent. He came to our camp, and then they had an opportunity to interview him, and he was talking about Oscar Robinson and this, that, and the third. And so, what I've learned through this question is one thing I've learned through this question. Through this question is what I've learned is that people tell their age by the people that they choose to go out there and play. They just tell their age of how old they are and where they fit when they watch basketball to when they stopped watching basketball. So it was an interesting question. I think it's kind of run its course now. But thank you, Micah, for blessing us with that. I think you might have come up with the best 5 so far. If they can at least outscore them.
Well, I mean, a 3's better than 2, and all of those guys
could hit the 3 consistently. Yeah.
Who's your 3-point shooter on that team? Which obviously I'm the biggest Michael Jordan fan. I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan. None of those guys are not.
I think Michael would have been the best shooter, but I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It's so hard with on the defensive side of the ball. Even though you're shooting the 3, it would be kind of tough because those guys all played pretty good D. Except for Shaq Shaq would have problems because he couldn't defend Bird or Kevin Durant. So there'd be
and then with the pick and roll and what happens with they run a pick and roll and Shaq's got Steph Curry
the pick and roll would be obsolete if you got Shaq out there. Like that's why that's a phenomenal 5. Even though I think I'm gonna go ahead and call you kind of like cheated.
Yeah, because he had extra time. You kind
of cheated, and you coming out with all these numbers. But I guess that's what you do. You try to show people up. But
that's what he does now.
Because it was such a great question. After we got done with that show, I was like, I just kept thinking about it, and then I was like, I mean, it's a 3-point league now, and so are those guys are they better players than that 5? No, but could that team potentially beat them just because they can outscore them and because of the 3-point ball? I mean, I think it'd be a fun game to watch for sure. Yeah, and right. I love Shaq, but he would not be the dominant Shaq that he was in that type of game.
Nah, he'd have to come out. He'd have to exert energy on the defensive side of the ball that he just doesn't have. So we'll go ahead and get out of here on that. That's a great 5. I think you've had the best 5 so far. So I mean, kudos to my man.
I wouldn't go that far, but go ahead.
I think he did have the best. I think he did. I got to give props where they do.
Do you remember my 5? Do you remember my 5? Exactly. You had the best 5. I'm not going to lay down with my 5, but I do respect your 5. I think they could beat that team.
Okay.
Go ahead, man. Get into the shout outs, man. I got to get to my kids.
All right, Micah, go ahead and start us off with the shout outs, dog.
Like I said, shout out to Taylor Smith, I believe 2015 AC Flora alumni. She's an exercise science student graduating this year. She is going to be a future star in the strength and conditioning profession, and He just landed a big-time internship in Colorado Springs at the National Strength and Conditioning Association's headquarters. So shout out to her for sure.
Josh, what you got?
Just shout out to all our listeners. Shout out to all the young players and coaches getting cranked up with basketball season. Even though I'm enjoying this part of football season, just shout out to the people that's raising their kids in these days and times, man. Just hold them close to your breast. Keep them within your heart. Pray over them. Touch them. Pray over your kids and anoint your kids daily. There is power in prayer, man, and just keep them close, and that's all I got. Take us out, Coach.
Yeah, want to give my shouts out. Shouts out to my boys out here grinding hard. Like you said, Josh, this is probably I love this time during football, but this is probably some of the times I cherish with my teams, man. Just the start of the season, the excitement in their eyes, and before it becomes mundane, and the energy level is up, and people are healthy. So shouts out to them. Shouts out to our listeners, everybody that chimed in on the book, on Facebook Live. We had some people in and out. We probably people listen today. Shouts out to the teachers that they say we're underpaid and overworked, but I honestly believe that the majority of us do it for the love, because you definitely ain't showing up for the bread. So shouts out to you to continue, and like Josh said, shouts out to shouts out to our listeners who have held us down for a long time, and we'll continue to bring you great content as much as we can. So shouts out to all of y'all. And if you want to join the conversation, you know how to do it. Hit us up on the Staley and English Show at gmail.com. That's the Staley AND English Show at gmail.com. You can listen to us on every single place that you can listen to a podcast, even iHeartRadio. Also, shouts out to Defy Life once again. And man, as always, keep God first. Everything else will follow. Peace.
Shh. You hear that? Listen closer. That, my friend, is the deafening sound of focus. It drowns out all the useless noise that can clutter the moment. Naysayers don't exist. Haters? Smaters? The peanut gallery? Who's that? When you're in your zone, all that noise and all that buzz is just elevator music. So, enjoy your journey, focus on your goal, and bask in the quiet roar that is progress. Because when it's your time to shoot that shot, spit that verse, or close that deal, the only voice that matters is yours. Defy Life.